Afghanistan focusing on continuing cooperation after the withdrawal of NATO-led troops at the end of 2014. Mr Cameron said it included a commitment to continue aid.
There will still be a strong relationship between Britain and Afghanistan, a relationship based on diplomacy, based on trade, based on our continued aid programme to help Afghans build a stronger country, because it's in our interest to make sure that the future Afghanistan is democratic and free of the terror of the past.
And 5 people have been arrested in Britain as part of an investigation into payments to police by journalists. And that's the latest BBC News.
Thanks very much, Oliver. Welcome back to Sports World with me, Lee James. Let me take you straight away to Franceville, Group D in the Africa Cup of Nations. Farai Mangazi is watching Botswana against Guinea. We had 5 goals in the first half. Any sign of a goal in the second, Farai?
Absolutely not. I think Guinea are now, just playing out the clock, really, because with just under 20 minutes remaining in this match, they still lead the Zebras of Botswana by 4 goals to 1. Most of the play in the second half taking place in Botswana's own half. Let's just remind you that the Zebras are playing with 10 men after Patrick Motsepe was sent off deep into stoppage time in the first half. 4-1 Guinea lead, and they are thinking of the 5th one right now. Will they get one as the ball is dribbled past the goalkeeper, but it is short wide. That could have been goal number 5, but it is still 4-1 to Guinea.
No goal for Guinea, but it looks like they've got the 3 points in Group D. Remember, it's Ghana against Mali in the late game in that group. We're taking your calls now, +44 161 874 1377 to have your say on the Cup of Nations. Now to tennis on Sports World, and Victoria Azarenka has won the Australian Open. The player from Belarus has beaten Maria Sharapova in straight sets, 6-3, 6-love, to take the women's singles title and become the new world number 1. We can hear from both finalists now. In a moment, Maria Sharapova, but first a victorious Azarenka, who admitted her game didn't start well, but she was able to overcome her nerves to take the title.
I didn't think of going to the match that I have to play perfect. I just have to play better than my opponent, And first 2 games was a little bit of a disaster, but then I kind of got the momentum going. I relaxed and I started to be focusing on the moment, on each point, trying to do whatever it takes to win the point.
To get to the final is a good achievement, but to end up being the one that loses is always tough, and no matter what sport you're in. But I'm proud of the fact that I made it this far, and it's been a few years since I've been in the finals of the Australian Open, and it's a good start to the year, I guess, for me, and I have a lot to look forward to this year.
Gracious acceptance of defeat from Maria Sharapova. It's Victoria Azarenka, though, who takes the title in Melbourne, which is where Sports World's Russell Fuller has been. He's been watching the action for us on the BBC World Service.
Well, Lee, it was an utterly dominant and magnificent display by Victoria Azarenka. In her first Grand Slam final, she becomes the world number 1 as a result of her demolition of Maria Sharapova. Sharapova very gracious afterwards, admitting she was out-hit and outplayed, even saying that she made me run around like a rabbit. Well, we were watching the final with the current WTA Tour player Bethany Matek-Sands, who's a mixed doubles finalist here on Sunday. She was thrilled to see such a commanding performance from Azarenka in that first Grand Slam final.
Azarenka really stepped up. She lost the first 2 games in the first set. Maria won 1 more game after that, and 11 games in a row she won. And then, talk about nerves. She had nerves of steel. I mean, she had nothing there. She went for a shot. She played more aggressive. She out-hit Maria Sharapova, who's one of the hardest hitters on tour. And I think it's really neat to see a new Grand Slam champ. Obviously, last time I was doing the commentating, Kvitova was the new champ. And I think it makes women's tennis really exciting that there's so many other girls that have the potential to hold a trophy over their head, and I think it makes it really cool.
Yes, I suppose Victoria Azarenka and Petra Kvitova are the 2 obvious players who may well dominate the women's game, or do you think that won't happen? Do you think we'll tend to get quite different Grand Slam winners over the next few years?
Yeah, honestly, I'm hoping that we get some more Grand Slam champs. It's always nice. Obviously, Kim Clijsters is always there. The Williams, when they're playing. Lee Na, you can never discount her. But, there's so many girls that are knocking off these top players at other tournaments and showing that they have what it takes to win these matches. You never know, and I think that's better than almost having just 2 that are going to be in the finals all the time, and I think that makes it exciting.
And tell us a bit about her. We know she comes onto court listening to music all the time with her hoodie on. What's she like in the locker room? Is she popular with the other players?
Vika has a great personality. She's very friendly in the locker rooms. She likes to dance. She likes to have a good time. She's got a good friends on tour, and you know it's a good vibe. And when she comes on the court, she gets serious. I mean, she's intense, and I think every match I've watched of her this year, at least, it's been super intense. She gets pumped up, and I think she's willed herself to win through some matches, and she'll always bring that out on the court. But she's not always the same off the court. But I think it's good that players can learn how to bring what they need on the court and then leave it there.
And fewer tantrums these days as well, which is something she's been working on very, very hard. She's a much maturer player than she was even 12 or 18 months ago.
Definitely. I mean, she's even admitted she's seen a couple of her breakdowns on YouTube and has gotten past those, and I think it's almost great of her that she recognizes it. I think some players might be in denial, saying, oh, it helps me, oh, I need to get it out. But, she's really kind of confronted her demons and worked with them, and it pays off. She's holding an Australian Open trophy over her head.
So the perfect Australian comes to an end for Victoria Azarenka, having won in Brisbane as well. It was a noisy final, as we thought it would be, although according to the pictures we saw on Channel 7, the local broadcaster, Maria Sharapova's unofficial world record grunt of 105 decibels was not beaten in the Rod Laver Arena. And now we look forward to the men's final. It's Rafael Nadal against Novak Djokovic once again. It's the world number 2 against the world number 1 and defending champion, the man in tennis in 2011. But a man, correspondent Jonathan Overend, who was out there on Friday night for 4 hours and 50 minutes against Andy Murray. So can he recover?
Yes, it's amazing, isn't it, to have the top 2 in the world playing the final in a third successive major. And can Djokovic recover? Well, I think he can. In Rome last year, Djokovic played a very long, very close semi-final with Andy Murray on the Saturday, very close to defeat. This was at the end of his, or in the middle of his long period of unbeaten matches, and we were thinking he's going to fall over and lose any time now. But he got through that Murray match, and then the next day came back and defeated Rafa Nadal in the final. And very few people there at the Foro Italico were expecting that day. Now, admittedly, that was over best of 3 sets, but I do think Djokovic will be fine here with the whole day off. He'll start the favourite, but I've got a hunch that it could be Nadal.
We shall see. It's the first time in the Open era that 3 consecutive Grand Slam finals have taken place between the same 2 men, Lee. And here's food for thought. If Djokovic can win, it'll be his 3rd Grand Slam in a row. He'll join Nadal, Federer, Sampras and Laver as the only men to win 3 in a row in the Open era.
It's not a bad hat-trick, is it, Russell? Russell Fuller, Jonathan Overend and Bethany Mathick-Sands in Melbourne, where the star was Victoria Azarenka. It was the Pakistan spinner, Abdul Rahman, that shone in Abu Dhabi. He took 6 wickets for 25 runs as England's cricketers were beaten by 72 runs in the second test on Saturday as Pakistan clinched the 3-match series. They'd earlier been dismissed for 214. England were given the target of 145, but they were all out for just 72.
And Anderson's on strike. Roman bowls too. He has a great swing across the line down towards deep backward square leg. It goes. It's going to be all over. And an extraordinary victory by Pakistan in bowling England out for just 72.
It was quite a collapse by the world's number 1 test side. England's batsmen really failing to deal with the spin. Only Strauss, the captain, and Matt Pryor managing to get into double figures. Well, the BBC's Alison Mitchell has been talking to a no doubt jubilant Pakistan coach, Wazin Khan. She started by asking him whether this was one of his best moments in the game.
Definitely, as a coach of Pakistan team, this is the proudest moment, and I'm thankful to Almighty Allah for that. And the second credit goes to the boys, those who played superbly. And I think it was a wonderful test match. We were lucky to finish up on the winning side. But then again, great test match, great cricket, great fight back by our boys. And I think they deserve it thoroughly.
Did you feel that when the target was under 150 that England had the upper hand?
Well, actually not 150, but when early on in the morning we were afraid that we'd probably finish up on the losing side. But the way the young chaps, Asad Shafiq and Azhar Ali fought back, and the whole team fought back, and then we got a lead of about 140 odd. Then we thought we have got a very good chance. All we have to do is to play discipline and